All right, new Witchcrafters. I think these are the last ones from the pack. I think next up we should be getting the Unchained cards, but maybe I'm wrong and there's more Witchcrafters. But I think we've gotten a couple of Witchcrafters already, and these are just the last two missing ones. But first things first, we have Witchcrafter Pupils, which is a level 8 fire spellcaster fusion effect monster. Requires a Witchcrafter and a spellcaster monster. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. During the main or battle phase quick effect, you can activate one of these effects. Add a Witchcrafter spell from your deck to your hand. Okay, already strong enough. Reveal a Witchcrafter normal or quick play spell in your hand. Apply that spell's activation effect. Ooh, okay. Now, this is fun because we've talked about this in a little bit of detail with the Witchcrafters. One of the problems that Witchcrafter has is that the grind game that this deck offers is basically dependent on a lot of their spells going back to your hand in the end phase, which from your grave, which is cool because it gives you a cool resource loop. But the problem is, like, when you're trying to defend against your opponent's combos, those quick plays or / normal spells in your hand won't help you with anything, right? You just have them in your hand during your opponent's turn, and they don't have impact on the game yet. They're follow-up, but they don't have impact on the game immediately. With this card in the mix, you can use those cards as interruptions potentially on the opponent's turn. Even the normal spells, you can apply their effects. Now, I don't know exactly what all the things are that Witchcrafter has on these cards, but that's an interesting way to go about this problem. So that's a pretty creative solution. At like the alternative, the other thing that people have been suggesting for Witchcrafters is that they give them a way to use the quick play spells from hand, right? Just activate them from your hand, like a Runic Fountain-esque card. But this is also a way they could have done it, you know, like the reveal a spell and then copy the effect. You can also keep the spell, so you don't have to waste it. It's not going away. So that's interesting. Okay. During your end phase, you can return one of your banished Witchcrafter cards to the graveyard. Okay, this is also interesting because I think the Witchcrafter spells, like, they only add themselves back from the graveyard. So maybe you can, if anything gets banished, you can set it up that way, put it back into the graveyard, and then loop it back into your hand at some point. So, interesting card. Now, the question is, how easy is it for Witchcrafter to summon this card? Is Witchcrafter had fusions beforehand. I remember that. I know that Witchcrafter already had a couple of fusion monsters, but I'm not sure how convenient it is for Witchcrafter to make this particular one. It doesn't seem very hard. Doesn't seem hard because all it takes is a Witchcrafter and a Spellcaster, which is basically everything in the Witchcrafter deck. Most importantly, also doesn't require 2 Witchcrafters, which is good because I believe Witchcrafter has some great synergies with some other decks as well. Like, I don't know, Magistus maybe, or maybe you're going to play some of the other more generic Spellcaster link stuff in the deck, like Charmers or Fairy Tale or whatever. Like, maybe there's worlds where you combine like all that together into like a Spellcaster pile, right? That idea has kind of been forming recently because they did more and more like Spellcaster support. Yeah, you can play Cartesia, which is just a Spellcaster, so Cartesia plus any Witchcrafter can make this card, and that's a good card to make going first because it adds any spell from your deck to your hand, but it also is potentially interruption on your opponent's turn if you have the right normal or quick play spells in rotation. So cool. That sounds like a cool card. It sounds like good payoff. Sounds like a fun card to play with as well. Most importantly, I think this sounds like a fun card to me. Awesome. Okay. And then we have Witchcrafter Marka, which earlier when they just posted the picture and we didn't have the translation yet, I was scared of this card because it's a level 6 dark spellcaster, which means if we're talking spellcaster slop, we gotta talk about Dark Magician of Destruction, because this card can make Dark Magician of Destruction. So let's see. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You contribute this card from your hand or field, add a Witchcrafter field or continuous spell from your deck to your hand. If a face-up Witchcrafter monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your grave, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, and if you do, tribute one opponent's monster. This card is crazy. Okay, explain to me why this card is crazy, because I feel like, I mean, it's good. I can tell that it's good, but Is it because is the target for this card just incredibly good? The new field spell is busted. Okay, hold up. Witchcrafter, the Revolution booster, Witchcrafter field spell. Let me, because it's been a while. Witchcrafter here. Oh, it was the, was it the Walpurgisnacht? Yeah, the Walpurgis. Yeah, here. Witchcrafter Walpurgis. During your main phase, add a Witchcrafter, then discard a card. During your turn, if you would discard. Oh, yes. Right. This one. This is the one that lets you send the spells from deck for cost, and this makes it even more searchable. Okay. Okay. It's still, it doesn't really strike me as a completely crazy card. Because in the modern day standard, this is just like a searcher for your field spell, which is especially weird because the field spell itself is a searcher. So activating this to then just add the field spell and then getting drolled after seems like a disaster to me. So it's definitely a good card, but I wouldn't call it crazy. I think it would be crazy if it, like, let's say it sets the field spell or whatever. You contribute it from field. Yeah, but like it's a level 6 monster. I feel like that has, I mean, there's going to be games where it comes up, but it doesn't seem like there's crazier things you can do with the level 6 Dark Spellcaster on your field. I'm telling you that much. Like, you can turn it into Dark Magician of Destruction, and that does a lot more than adding a field spell. So, yeah. It's still a good card because it makes your board, and I think that's the bigger deal here with Witchcrafters, because Witchcrafter already has really good grind game. But just, I think this second effect really shouldn't be underestimated, because having this sort of bonus effect on a basically terraforming is really good, because like, and it's not super niche as well. It's just like, if any Witchcrafter monster leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, it brings itself back and is removal. That makes your like board so much harder to remove, and which is relevant because the deck has grind game. Like, as long as you can set up a bunch of spells in rotation that all go back into your hand in the end phase, as long as you survive, you're gonna be in a pretty good spot. And this card is like premium, like, protection for your board essentially, because your opponent just, like, if they try to remove your stuff, you just bring it back and tribute a monster, which is really good. It's annoying, kind of like the Ray graveyard effect. Yes, but like Ray, if it also had removal attached to it, right? So I think this card is pretty solid, but not necessarily only because of the first effect. Like the first effect is fine. Like the first effect is like the requirement for the card to see play, because it does something when you draw it. It's just a consistency piece for your deck, which is all fine and good. But I think the second effect is what like makes it a good card overall. Like that's what makes it that's what makes it strong. Is like, you set up your field, you get your combo together, you have this in the graveyard. It's protection as well, on top of being a consistency card, which I think that's really high quality, all things considered. So the fusion monster is fun and more flashy for sure than the new main deck monster, but the new main deck monster is also, I wouldn't underestimate it. That seems pretty solid. All right, we're getting more and more pieces for all these spellcasters. I think at this point, at this point, it's just a matter of time until we get enough to finally form a meta deck. It feels like, at least to me, it really feels like they're pushing a lot of these spellcaster archetypes. You know, like we got Charmers, we got Magister support, we get Witchcrafters now, we got Fairy Tale. Like, it's only a matter of time. We got Dark Magician stuff. So like, there's a lot of spellcaster support going on, right? And I think at this point, like, a lot of these cards are just high quality, and the more they make, the more likely it's going to be that eventually you can build a really good deck with these. And maybe Witchcrafters are the ones that are going to be part of it. I don't know. But to me, it just feels like there's a lot of good spellcaster stuff coming out. Hasn't really hit the meta yet, I feel like. At least in the OCG, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of these. I think Fairy Tale saw some play, but Spellcaster, the deck, hasn't really taken over yet. But I think if they make a couple more like these, then I feel like at some point it's got to be good enough, right? Spellcaster's biggest enemy is the extra deck limit. Yeah, I guess that's the problem, because from what I'm seeing so far, like it's all just meant to go together in a lot of ways. Like some of these cards have harsher locks, but for the most part, it's like, okay, you can play Magistus with Witchcrafter, with Invoked, with Fairy Tale maybe. Like you can just put it all into one deck, and like it just gets incredibly tight. And also, they are typically pretty weak to, I think, Droll and Fuwa are kind of like the thing that's stopping them from taking over, maybe. We'll see. But these cards are good, for sure. I like these.